Last night he did it again. Trey Yesavage set all sorts of, I guess, rookie benchmarks for a World Series performance. Most strikeouts without a walk. I mean, it was scintillating. And I know somebody who watched every single pitch of it, Cliff Godwin, East Carolina baseball coach, who joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Can you walk me through your emotions watching that? And we could also contrast it to game one of the series. But as you're watching that last night, what are you thinking?
Oh, man, last night it was special. I mean, he had his split finger, he had his slider. Normally, he probably doesn't have both of them at that level. Obviously, you can tell with 12 strikeouts with some of the best players in the world and definitely a few Hall of Famers that he's facing in the Dodgers lineup. I'm yelling. My dog's like looking at me like I'm crazy. He's scared because I'm yelling at the TV, when he strikes a guy out. And I'm coaching him through the TV, at least in my head, come on, Trey, you can do this and, execute a pitch here. But I've never seen him better. And the bigger the moment, he doesn't make the moment too big. He is very confident in what he does and his preparation, and it's not an arrogance. It's just he understands he's got to go out there and execute pitches, and he doesn't look at Ohtani or Freddie Freeman or Judge or whoever it is. He just tries to execute pitches to help his team win.
0 for 8, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. 0 for 8, 5 strikeouts combined last night. Cliff Godwin, East Carolina baseball coach, joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. Here's the thing that really struck me, because we talked about the game last night on the show yesterday with my friend John Manuels, former pro scout. May well again be a pro scout down the road, who knows, but has intimately knowledgeable of Trey and his time at ECU. And he said it's going to be hard because the Dodgers have seen him already. And so they know what to expect. And they have whatever he called it. They have this simulator that will help them because they can project what he looks like. It didn't look like the Dodgers were better in Game 5 than they were in Game 1. What do you make of that? Did that surprise you as well? Because there was essentially 2 hard-hit balls last night. The Kike Hernandez solo home run, and I forget who hit the line drive to right field. Ohtani hit that. Okay, those are the only 2 balls that were squared up all night last night. The other 2 hits were both infield hits. So what do you make of, did he make an adjustment, or was his stuff just that much better?
His stuff was that much better. I was, in the Rogers Center for Game 1, which was the best sporting event I've ever been to. I'm getting chill bumps talking about it. And he did not have his best stuff. And I was just so proud of him, as proud as I am this morning, because he gave his team a chance to win, even though he only went 4 innings and he gave up 2 runs. But he didn't have his split finger, and his command wasn't great, and he's just out there grinding. And you have to also – Trey's in uncharted waters as far as how many innings he's pitched. He's gone, at a level he hasn't done before, so I'm sure he's tired. I didn't know that he would be able to have this kind of stuff in this start, but, man, he went to a place that, is Michael Jordan-ish, to be quite honest with you, in a moment when you're a rookie. And I just, I try to tell our team that Trey wasn't this when he walked in the door at East Carolina. He had to work his tail off, and our pitching coach, Austin Knight, worked tremendously with him to develop these pitches that he has now. But if you pull up a side-by-side video of what he's doing now, delivery-wise, and what he did in college, it's pretty consistent with what he was here at East Carolina. But Trey has always had a slow heartbeat. And the moment, people can say what they want, but when you pitch an elimination game and 10 days earlier you were in the hospital with a punctured lung and you're going up against Chase Burns in front of East Carolina's 6,000 fans, and you're probably not 100%. And I've told people a lot, that's the gutsiest pitching performance I've ever watched, in person. And he went 7 1/3, and he outpitched Burns. And he didn't have the stuff that he had last night. And, he's facing Nick Kurtz, and there was another first-rounder on the team. And somebody texted me this morning, has there ever been better players on Clark LeClaire Field than Chase Burns, Trey Yesavage, and Nick Kurtz on one day? I said, probably not. I mean, I don't know if there has. I didn't see it. So, but it couldn't happen to a better person. His family has done a tremendous job raising him, and it's a very proud moment to just been a small part of Trey's life to this point.
Cliff Godwin, East Carolina baseball coach, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I talked about this with John yesterday because I thought that fourth inning that he pitched, and actually you can go back even in that, I thought he looked good in the first inning. The split he threw to Ohtani to strike him out to lead off the top of the first was an elite pitch that just completely dove down out of the zone, and Ohtani swung over it. That was a great pitch, but he obviously, Smoltz figured it out right away. Doesn't have his great stuff. And he gave up the runs in the second and third. But the fact that they only got the one in each of those innings, how he battled to keep the damage to a minimum and then pitched that fourth inning, I thought that was, when you don't have your stuff and you can battle that way, that shows so much about who you are as a competitor. So it's almost easier when your stuff's great. I mean, Dodgers had no chance at him last night, right? So I mean, John and I talked about what he did, a week or so ago. That to me was maybe more impressive.
100%. I mean, it's easy. I say it's easy. It makes it look easy when you do what you did last night. But you even think about that first play, Ohtani. He chops the ball and Trey jumps up and he kind of bobbles it, and he just doesn't freak out, and he gathers it and then kind of does like an option pitch to first base to Vladdy, but he's like laughing, like, dude, this is the biggest game you've ever pitched in, and you're in Dodger Stadium. But that's just who Trey is, and he's a great teammate. Bichette said this after last night's game. He said he's an ultra confident person that you don't hear in the locker room. And I thought that was so awesome. I sent it to our pitching staff last night after I heard it.
Cliff Godwin is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. So I want to ask you, I want to ask you about the windup. It's not really a windup. So did he develop that on his own? You don't see starting pitchers all too often. I mean, it's not completely foreign. We see it occasionally. But there's no windup. There's no big delivery. It almost looks like he's going from an exaggerated stretch. And he throws straight over the top. I said, because the first time I saw him, I'm like, man, a little bit of Jim Palmer without completely bending all the way back. Because he throws straight over the top. It's remarkable. So walk me through some of that stuff.
Yeah, his arm action has pretty much stayed the same from when he was, growing up. But I think you probably know this, but some people, he wasn't one of these kids that started playing baseball when he was 5 or 6 years old. I think he really started playing when he was like 12, 13. Hell, it could have been even 14. I don't know. But somebody said he had a good arm, and if you worked at it, you could, maybe turn into something. I mean, he was an outdoors person as his family, hunting, fishing, in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. But when he got here, he was really raw, good arm. We actually recruited him off video because it was during the COVID rules where we couldn't go out.
Right.
He had changed his decision. He was going to one school, decommitted. The travel ball coaches of his organization called Coach Palumbo. And as I always tell Jeff, hey, man, if he's not decommitted, if he's still committed somewhere, we're not talking to him. But he decommitted, and we watched video. He had a good arm and could spin the ball, but it wasn't like great command. And he gets to East Carolina, and Coach Knight just helped refine that. But even in the fall of his freshman year, he was not good. He couldn't throw strikes consistently. And even early on his freshman year in the spring, same thing. And then he became a guy in 22 that we could just throw into a really, really bad jam, bases loaded, no outs, and he could Houdini his way out of it. But then if you ran him back out there for the next inning, he was going to create a jam and give up runs. And he just kept evolving, kept developing with Coach Knight, and developed the slider that he has now, which he calls a cutter, and the split finger. And you go into the spring of 24, and, I mean, our guys are swinging and missing by 4 feet like these big leaguers. So it makes me feel a little bit better now that you see Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, and Mookie Betts swing just like our guys were doing in the preseason.
All right, final thing for Cliff Godwin, East Carolina head baseball coach Trey Yesavage, of course, was a Pirate last spring. That is the most incredible part of this story. That last spring he was pitching for you, and he goes from Dunedin to Vancouver to Manchester, New Hampshire to Buffalo to Toronto to the World Series. There's no way anybody could have expected this. What surprises you the most, or even the least, about this?
What surprises me the most is the organization, just taking Trey the way they did. And I think part of it was they wanted him to pitch in warm weather early and not pitch in cold weather, but just methodically moving him up. And I even heard Snyder's post games was like, we brought him up with like 12 or 13 games left in the regular season just to have an influx of talent because they had some injuries on the mound. And you really don't know what it's going to look like. And he just kept answering the bell, basically. But for me, that part doesn't surprise me because Trey has always just made the moment what it is and not make it bigger than what it was. And he's pitched at some big games at East Carolina, so this doesn't surprise me. Striking out 12, obviously, like I said, it's Michael Jordan-ish against the Dodgers, in their stadium. I mean, I don't think anybody could have expected that, but Trey just goes out there and tries to take it one pitch, one batter at a time. But I'm just happy the organization took a shot because you just don't see that even with high draft picks.
Yeah, but I do wonder, because this is something that maybe we're starting to see a trend anyway, and if it's even going to get more prevalent going forward, is that the college game is becoming better and better as more money is being invested in it and as more attention is being paid to it. I think it becomes more attractive to the high school players. And when those guys get drafted, maybe they're just ready. And we don't have to be as patient. We don't have to, send them through 3 years of the minor leagues where these clubs can bring these guys up when they're 22, 23, because it does seem like the sport is trending in that direction. Maybe this is a great advertisement for East Carolina baseball, Coach.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, Jeff Hoffman's obviously the closer for the Blue Jays, and I did not coach him, but he's an East Carolina Pirate. We have 8 guys from East Carolina in the big leagues right now.
I watched Gavin Williams a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. And I would say, as not the coach here, but as an alum that played here at East Carolina, that makes me super happy because I don't think we've ever had, to my knowledge, 8 guys in the big leagues at one time. And, Sean Armstrong and Jeff Hoffman didn't play for me, but Gavin Williams did, Alec Burleson, Zach Agnos, Carson Wisenhunt, Connor Norby, and, of course, Trey Yesavage. So it's really cool to watch those guys go out there and perform at the level they're doing. And, of course, I'm always pulling. I watch a lot more Major League Baseball now than I used to.
Well, man, I know you're proud, and it was amazing to watch last night. Thank you for your time, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll check in again soon.
Adam, thanks, buddy. Go Jays.
Go Jays.
Threw that in there.
Go Canada. All right.